Hey everyone, welcome to my lesson on an FMS. So for this assessment, I have chosen an overhand throw. This is a really common skill that is used in many sports, such as rugby, cricket, and even axe throwing if you're so inclined. Okay, so with any FMS skill, safety is really important as a teacher, and the considerations that you really have to consider in teaching this skill is to make sure that your path is clear behind you and in front of you so no other student is going to get hurt, and just make sure that the students are throwing it properly. If they do it incorrectly, they could injure their arm or anything like that as well. Here I am going to demonstrate the best and safest way to complete an overhand throw. The first thing you want to do is make sure that your eyes are focused on the target throughout the throw. Second, stand side on to the target. If you are right-handed, you will face to the right, and if you are left-handed, you will face to your left. Thirdly, your throwing arm starts at a position nearly straight out behind your body. Fourth, step forward with the opposite foot to your throwing arm. Next, hips and shoulders follow the motion of the throw. And lastly, throwing arm follows through down across the body. The first activity is called point score. This is a really simple game for younger primary age students. Students are put into groups of 3 or 4, but it can be any number, and this game is really versatile because you can have a small group and be able to play the game, or have much larger groups. The equipment that you will need for this game is 2 beanbags per student. I didn't have beanbags, so I just used tennis balls and a piece of chalk. Point score is played in an open space with a hard surface. Mark out numbered targets. Smaller, harder targets are worth more points. Larger targets are worth less points. Students get 2 throws to gain a maximum of points. Students with the most points win. Variations you can add to this game include varying the number of throws per group and varying the distance. So if they're finding the game too easy, you can make it so they have to throw from a further distance, and vice versa. Due to the current isolation laws, I could only have one person demonstrating these activities. However, ideally in a classroom you'd have roughly 15, 20, 30 students, which makes the games a lot more interesting and a lot more healthy competitive. So this next activity is a little bit more fast-paced, and you could use it so the kids can really practice that FMS skill, or for students that are a little bit more developed in their FMS. It's called Clean Up Your Yard. And so for this game you need 2 designated areas, roughly 10 to 15 meters apart. For my demonstration I didn't have the room to be able to do that, but that's ideally how you want the playing field to go. And for the equipment, all you need is a newspaper ball per student. So the aim of the game is for the 2 teams that you organise in their territories are trying to get as many of the newspaper balls into the other team as possible, again using that overhand throw to get the balls over to the other hand side. The team with the least amount of newspaper balls win. It's quite a simple game, but it's really good to be able to practice that FMS in a fast-paced activity. Variations that you could add to this game include, again, doing the distance, so making it either longer or shorter depending on how your students are going, and placing obstacles between them, so having something large like maybe a person in between that they have to throw around. Only do this if you're using paper balls. But yeah, that's the second game, and we're about to demonstrate that for you now. So here I am using chalk to set up the playing field, and then me and my opponent are setting up the newspaper balls that we're going to throw at each other. So just quickly reflecting, I actually found this FMS really more difficult to teach than I thought it was going to be. Trying to teach the FMS in step by step is really hard. I think when you know something like throwing overhand, it's really hard to cut it into a step by step lesson, and so I really struggled with that. I also struggled, even though I was teaching one person how to play the activities, I found that I wasn't very clear in my instructions, and so he was left going, I'm actually not sure what to do, and he's 22, so teaching preps or grade 1s or even kindergartners I think would be really challenging, and so that's something that I've realised that I really need to work on, is just making my lessons very clear and precise and understandable. So yeah, thank you for watching.